Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afkar, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. So, thank you for your presence, whether now on the live call or whether or later on the replay. So, always happy to be here with you, and also very excited that Michelle Niver is with us for the first time on the show, and yeah, really excited that she's here. The first time we connected, really felt the and also when I before that I watched some of her videos on YouTube and really loved her message. It was very authentic, very inspiring, and also I felt the energy that she embodies and transmits. Really loving and really powerful. So very excited that she's here with us today. And for those of you who are new to her, she is a psychic medium, Reiki master teacher, health coach, and sound therapist. And also she is the founder of Sacred Awaken. And the subject today is about developing our psychic abilities. So she will be discussing that and talking about maybe like the different layers and also maybe more in details about how can we connect more deeply into those abilities and bringing them forward, like expressing them, because many times it can be how to say, like it feels like it's something new if we are not connected to that. We didn't experience that before, but also there is some kind of safety, feeling not safe, being open to other realms that we are not used to connect to. But also we learn that we are all intuitives. We are all have those psychic abilities. It's just some depending on their journey, they are more open, more active, and others on the way to that. So and also we'll have a Q&A. So like always, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing your reactions, then raise hand. And if you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And as well, you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, so with that, Michelle, welcome to the show. Very happy to have you with us today.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and share this information.
Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, let's start talking about yourself. Can you please maybe share about a little bit about your journey and also the work you are doing?
Yeah, sure. I'll start at the beginning. I grew up kind of a strange child. The family doctor called me spooky, but my parents didn't understand it. I saw things and heard things that other people and felt things that other people didn't feel, and it was called my imagination at that time. And by the time I was 11 or 12, I ended up at a mental health office and received medications to make it stop happening, make those sensitivities go away. Because it was pretty difficult as a child not to understand seeing those things and hearing those things, and so I tried to make it disappear for a number of years. And my whole life I was interested in some sort of healing profession, and I had a lot of nursing in my family, and it just made a lot of sense to go to nursing school. So I did that, and I had this thing called nursing intuition. I was good at knowing what's going to happen with patients, and I thought, well, that's just something, I don't really know what that is. I just have this nursing intuition thing. But over the years, it grew stronger and stronger, and there were some moments where I couldn't believe like how much I was able to anticipate with patients. And at some point, I got tired of nursing, and I went to massage school. And through many hours of dark, quiet rooms working on people, I realized I was talking to spirits, or spirits were talking to me. And I thought, well, that's something that happens to other people. That's something you see on TV. I don't know how this could be real for me, but I was so fascinated by it that I started telling all of my clients anything that would come up. If they would listen to me, I would tell them what I thought I was getting, and they would validate it. And so I would go home and tell my husband these stories, and he kept track of them for me. And one day, a friend of mine, she said, I had also gotten interested in energy work, and I was doing energy work on people. And a friend of mine said, when are you going to start doing readings as part of your practice? I said, well, I don't know that I'll ever do that. I don't know if I'm good enough for that. And that prompted me to go home and read that journal. All those instances I told my husband about, he kept track of them. And I read it and I went, oh my gosh, I think maybe I'm psychic. And so I went to a medium, and she told me I was psychic and that I was here to help other people realize that we all had abilities, and that I was part of my life contract, if you will, was to come in and teach others about the subtlety of our psychic abilities and how we are all here basically to experience what we are not, which is in the physical form, where all of this stuff seems so much more subtle than what most people want. So I started practicing it, and that's it in a nutshell. Went from strange child to medicated to nurse to realizing we were all psychic, and now I'm on a mission to share it with as many people as possible.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I really like that you shared about the beginning, because I think most of us, like, we think that things happen to other people, but not us, until there are some experiences that start opening our hearts and opening our gifts, and we become aware of those. And I'm not sure if you did share about how you work with your clients, and how, whether
Oh,
like
you're right.
classes or one-on-ones.
Thank you. I did
Yeah.
not. A large part of my practice is doing psychic readings and channeling sessions where I let spirits speak through me. I also do energy sessions where I took classes in energy medicine, Eden energy medicine, and touch for health. And one day, through practicing with a friend of mine, I realized that I already knew what was happening with her energies, and that I could make corrections psychically instead of the way I learned in class with my hands. So I work psychically with people's energies now, and I do health coaching. I'm still a registered nurse, and so I'm a health coach. I'm a grief counselor, and I like to play singing bowls and other sound instruments and speak in light language. So I do sound healing sessions privately and also group sound healing sessions.
Yeah.
Oh, in classes, I teach mediumship. I call it mediumship and manifestation, but it's basically a mediumship class with spell work. I teach an introduction to psychic development, all three levels of Reiki, and a class on the chakras and the aura.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so yeah, in the beginning, maybe the first question is about when we start becoming aware of those gifts, and maybe we have maybe some confusion, or we don't understand what is happening. So what are the different kind of psychic gifts that we have, and how can we differentiate between them and know which are like more strongly that we can use compared to others?
So we all have some basic ones, and we call those the clairs. But the two most common clairs I'll start with are clairsentience and claircognizance. So clairsentience is clear feeling, claircognizance, clear knowing. And I think that those abilities are partly related to our heart, and the work that the Heart Math Institute has done, I think, partly explains clairsentience, where the vibration of the human heart has been measured outside of the body like 3 feet at least, and has been shown to interact with the vibrations of the hearts around it. So when we come within that proximity to each other, then our heart vibrations start to interact. And I think a natural part of that is that we can feel each other's emotions. And so that's empathy. And also, I think, clairsentience, the ability to feel situations. And we all get that on a daily basis. We're feeling into situations, whether we're paying attention to it or not is another story. But I think it's a defense, or I should say, a survival mechanism in a way. We should be able to sense whether a situation is dangerous or safe for us, or something that will help us or not help us. So I think it's a basic ability we all have as part of who we are as humans here in this realm on Earth, where it's not always safe. We need to be able to read into situations. And I think a lot of that comes from the heart. The heart has been shown in some ways to be an organ of higher consciousness, where some people have received heart transplants and started to have visions that didn't belong to them. There's one really interesting story where one person received the heart of someone who had been murdered and had such vivid, accurate visions that she helped the police solve the murder of the donor. And so the heart is something really special. And I think it connects us all to each other. And so I think that's partly one of our strongest abilities is clairsentience, the ability to feel into situations. And claircognizance is really similar, where it's clear knowing. I just know it. I don't know how I know it, but I know. And then it comes true. And I think that is also very related to clairsentience. And I don't think there's a real a dividing line in between those two. But if we know what to call it, then it can help us understand it better and develop it more easily. So claircognizance and said to claircognizance, clear knowing, is said to have come from the solar plexus chakra. And I think very much like clairsentience, it's a survivable mechanism for us. And it helps us help other people as well, just like empathy. If we didn't understand what other people were experiencing, then we wouldn't be able to help them in the same way. So I think those are two really basic ones we all have. And the way to feel those more is to slow down, to quiet the mind. There's so much energy that has been measured with our machinery that we don't pick up with the physical senses. And so when we tune out of the bandwidth of physical perception, then we start to pick up on those other energies. And that's sometimes each other, sometimes it's spirit. And so that's a big key to this. Claire, a lot of people think they don't have clairaudience or clairvoyance. So clairaudience is clear hearing, clairvoyance, clear seeing. And a lot of people think they don't have that because they expect it to be very loud or very visible through the physical senses. And that's not usually how it comes. It usually comes as our own thoughts. I need a little sip of water, excuse me. So one end of that spectrum of clairaudience is, oh, who just said that? Who just called my name? There's nobody here. And the other end of it is, why'd I have that weird thought? One of the most obvious moments of that for me was one day when I was just carrying a cup of tea to my desk and I had overfilled it and I wasn't thinking about anything except don't spill it. When suddenly I had this, what seemed like a random thought, head-on collision. The only person the only spirit that this person I was calling wanted to talk to was someone who had died in a head-on collision. And it was just a random thought. That's what it felt like to me. Clairvoyance or seeing is really similar, where you just have a thought of almost like someone described it to me as remembering a photograph, but it's like you have a thought of a vision in your mind. Like, why would I have that thought? Um, People expect it to be through the audible senses, but I'll tell you that for most adults and even for a lot of children, that's not usually the most common end of clairaudience and clairvoyance. It's that subtle thought that you had, and you're like, why would I have that thought? I'll give you an example of something that really helped me one day. I was, to understand this and how our guardians work, I was taking a shower, getting ready for work, when I had this, what seemed like random thought. And I was like, why would I think of that? That's so weird. I don't even know what that is. It was just a sign I had seen once in the town where I was living. So about 30 minutes into my drive to work, I was in another town and I looked up and I saw a sign that said the same thing but spelled differently. And I went, oh my gosh, that thought in the shower wasn't just a random thought. That was something guiding me. And the only thing I could think to do because I was driving was to put the brakes on. And when I applied the brakes in my car, another car ran a stop sign. And if I hadn't put the brakes on, I would have hit that car. And if I would have blown off that thought and not paid attention to that, then I would have been in a wreck. And so our guardian angels work that way too, or our spirit guides work in that way where it's such a subtle feeling for most people. So the key to it, is to start questioning those thoughts, those synchronicities that you have around thoughts. What are you doing at the time of that thought? Instead of just being like, oh, that was a weird coincidence or that was a weird thought, to pay attention to it and see how it plays out. The more you pay attention to it, the more things start to come together. The more you practice it in little ways that you're not feeling emotionally attached to the answer, the better you'll get at it. And the reason I say emotionally attached to the answer is that the intellectual channels that we have are so much stronger than the instinctual or the intuitive channels, because that's mostly what we're doing in this reality is thinking. And so it will override the intuitive channels, especially if we have an emotional attachment to what the outcome is. And there's some really simple exercises you can do on a daily basis to start to develop this stuff. And um, I'm not sure if I completely answered the question or if I should go into that
Yes,
at this point.
yes, you did. You did, and I really loved your answer and how you described like the way this guidance come to us. Because also in the beginning, I was thinking that it should be loud, and it's like it feels strong. But what happened is like I was receiving messages that felt like I need to do this right now, or it felt like there is some urgency in it, and I thought that was guidance. And after a while, it appeared that it was not. And then I started realizing, because I was either hearing something or just reading something, and it felt settled, but it's like it has a warm feeling. It's like from a friend or someone who cares.
Mhm.
And because I was looking for loud things, I didn't give attention to those until later I started understanding like how the intuition or how the intuitive guidance can come through.
It's so common that that happens. And I meet people who have really, really strong abilities. I do psychic mentoring as well. And some of these people have stronger abilities than I do, but they don't understand how subtle it is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was totally real right there. And sometimes we think we got it wrong, but we don't get it wrong. Like one time, there was a lady in my class, and they were practicing an exercise called psychometry, where you hold an object and you read the energy of the object. And she was reading the energy of something that belonged to a woman who was a hairdresser for over 50 years. She cut hair, and she drew a sickle on her paper. She said, I just keep seeing this. And she thought she got it wrong. But I don't think spirit gives us words. They give us energy, and our brain has to turn it into something. And so she got the energy of something that cuts, and all she could draw was a sickle. But it was very appropriate, because that woman spent 52 years cutting people's hair. Another really interesting one was the first time I was trying to connect with my husband's mother. I asked her to tell me something that I wouldn't know about him, so he knew it wasn't me just making it up. And she said, tell him about when he was 16 and the toe. And I wrote TOE. He didn't know what that was, and I thought I got it wrong. But a little while later, he realized that it was about a time when he did what he wasn't supposed to, driving the car. And his parents laughed at him, walked away laughing, and said, now you've got to get it towed. Well, I wrote TOE instead of TOW. And I thought I got it wrong, but I didn't. And so it's important to know that uh, spirit doesn't necessarily give us words. Our brain has to convert it into words. And the more we know, the more information we have in our minds, the more spirit has to work with. So I remember a long time ago hearing, it was James von Prague. He said, if you want to know, if you want to be good at getting names from spirit, then read the phone book and learn a bunch of names. And then spirit has something to work with you. Sort of like when I learned energy medicine. If I had never learned energy medicine, I never would have heard that someone's gallbladder meridian was overactive. Or if I didn't have a lot of medical information in my mind, spirit wouldn't be able to tell me about a complex medical problem that someone has very easily. So the more information we have in our database, the more spirit can work with us as well.
Yeah.
But it's easy to mistake it and think you got it wrong. One more thing I'd like to say about it is we're afraid to say it. People get it right all the time when they do practice exercises in my classes. They say, "Oh, I thought that, but I didn't say it. I was afraid to be wrong." And so you have to kind of let that go and be okay with being wrong. Some of the most meaningful things I've ever said to people seemed ridiculous to me, but they were really meaningful to the person.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And so my next question is about that fear of following the guidance, taking action. And it can be related to many things, maybe traumas from the past or past experiences that we think they are repeating themselves, or we feel like maybe we will be missing out, like it doesn't feel like convincing enough, the energy or the guidance. So how can we approach that fear of, because it feels also like taking risk. How can we approach that?
It does. And there's not an easy answer to that, except you have to start somewhere.
Right.
And so for me, I like to say that I built this entire thing by letting spirit drive and um, and following those urges that come, because that is a common way that spirit communicates with us, is through urges that we sometimes don't understand. And so fear of following the guidance, fear of letting spirit in. I remember when I was learning about how to do this, and they said, you have to be okay with letting spirit use your mind and use your body. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that. I was very afraid of that. But what empowered me around it was learning more information. The more I learned about how it worked, the more empowered I was. The more I understood that the only thing that could really hurt me was the belief that I could be hurt. And I started learning about negative entities as well. And at first, I wasn't ready to deal with that because it just seemed so scary. But then I realized that we were so powerful as humans that any of us had the power to repel that kind of negative energy. It was just a matter of learning about it um, and developing a belief system around it. And the only way I was able to do that was to learn to listen to other people and to learn as much as I could about how it worked, and then to start experimenting with it and to find that over and over again it worked and I was still safe. There were times, because of some of the work that I do, that some darker things did come into my life. But my understanding is that those darker things, they can't connect to love and gratitude. They don't resonate with those vibrations. And so we can become a vibrational mismatch for those types of negative entities that are out there. And that requires what I call emotional hygiene work. So if we can start to build up our vibration and work on our energies, and there's specific things I can tell you to do about your energy to build up your energies, so you have a force field around you. And one of those are specific energy exercises, and one of them truly is staying in the vibration of gratitude more than you don't stay in the vibration of gratitude. If you're in a vibration of love or gratitude or joy or enlightenment, not to mean that you can't go to those darker places. We're here to experience a myriad of emotions, but those emotions are to teach us something, a way to move forward. And so if we can learn to raise our perspective around every difficult situation we're in, then we're actually protected spiritually when we're connecting in this way. And then just having the intention all the time of, I will only connect with beings of the highest good. That really works. Thanking your guides for helping you. A lot of people contact me because they're afraid to reconnect with their gifts because they had scary stuff as a kid. And I get that. I did too. But really, the only thing I can say about it is, if you're an open channel, there's probably going to be some scary stuff that you hear and you see out there. But you can completely protect yourself by raising your vibration, learning energy medicine, learning emotional hygiene, and just listening to other people will empower you. Get a mentor, find somebody that can guide you in the process. When I first started, I didn't always know what I was talking to. Sometimes I was talking to something that we would consider more negative, that didn't have humanity's best interest at heart. And to be able to get in touch with my mentor and say, what do you see here? That really helped me a lot. So educate yourself, get out of fear, know that nothing can harm your soul unless you believe it to be so, that you're born to be psychic. It's just who you are. You're a divine spirit having this compressed human experience. It literally is who you are, and it's here to protect you. So learn as much as you can about it and practice in little ways that are safe for you, that help you, like parking places. I mean, that's an easy one. You can, um, You can ask, is there going to be a place to park in the front row? Yes or no. Do that every day. Learn what yes feels like, what no feels like, and that'll help you. And you'll be like, oh, okay, I like this. This isn't scary at all. Um, there's a lot more I could say on that, but I think maybe I answered the question at this point.
Yeah, that was very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle. And maybe one more question. Another aspect is how we can affect the guidance we receive, because sometimes it happened to me before that I don't like the first guidance I receive and I ask for another one, but it's more about manipulating the the message as it's and it appeared that what I receive next it's more myself creating that,
Yeah.
and it really happened that it was really challenging when I followed the second one, and the first one was I understood that it was the easiest path. So how do you what will be your advice regarding that?
Um, I get that advice sometimes too. Something like, "Oh, that's going to be so hard. I don't want to do it." And generally, when I have that feeling, it's the thing I really need to do. And so I've learned that I just have to trust that and know that those. I think what you're describing is like a strong urge to do something, but a resistance to doing it because you're like, I don't either know how I'm going to do that, or that's just too hard to do it. But that is, I've found that some of the things that have felt like the hardest things to do that I've been receiving information about have been some of the biggest things to move me forward. And so I saw a sign the other day that says, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't grow you. And I think that's true, that if we stay in our comfort zone, that we don't grow. But your question is, could you repeat the question? How
Um, like the advice when we don't like the first
mm,
the guidance that we receive and we try
almost
to manipulate it.
almost every time that I ask a second time, like you just described a minute ago, I get it wrong the second time. That the first answer is almost always the right answer. It's it's really almost always the right answer. So unless our mind has gotten in the way because we have some emotional attachment to the outcome. My advice is to understand that spirit will never give us something that we can't handle, and that they can see better than we can see of what's going to move us forward. I'm thinking of a few really difficult things that I had heard that I needed to do and that I ended up doing, and how far they pushed me forward. So trusting that your spirit guides are not going to push you into a situation that you can't handle, but that they're going to push you into situations that are going to grow you. It's there's no easy to answer to this one as well, but I will tell you that almost every time when it's about me, if I ask the question a second time because I don't like the first answer, I get it wrong. So just with any kind of communication, whether it's communicating with spirit, communicating telepathically with other people, or with animals, the first answer, the first thought is usually the right one. And this
Yeah.
place wasn't meant to be easy.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's not easy at all, but yeah,
Frequently.
it happened to me several times. But later, like for example, one time I felt I needed to move from a house, and it felt I was not ready. I didn't feel good about that. But 2 months later, I found out that I was being protected if I stayed. There was a
Mm.
big problem happened there. So like things like that, if something is taken from us, it doesn't mean it's bad or but yeah, we can't, maybe we don't understand why the reason in the beginning, but yeah, it happened for us.
Absolutely. When
Yeah.
I was in my late 20s, I broke both of my legs and feet and ended up in a wheelchair for 6 months. And I can tell you right now, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about all of this if that hadn't happened to me. And at the time, it didn't make any sense. But now it makes a lot of sense why that had to happen to me. And a few years ago, several years ago, we moved. I had a really thriving practice. I was really busy, and we both, my husband and I both had a vision of the area where we lived burning, and it was very inconvenient. And it was so strong that we decided to move hours away, and it ended up burning. It was one of the hardest decisions to give up his good job, to give up my business, and to just throw it all away and move. And turned out to be a really good decision. So hopefully just hearing these things helps you, whoever's listening to this, trust those difficult situations or difficult decisions a little more.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And maybe one last question before we start taking the ones from the
Sure.
audience is um, many times we want to have clarity about the support first, that we will be supported, then we take action. But also I learned that support comes along the way. So how can we deal with that?
Hmm. If we had the clarity first, we wouldn't need the guidance, is the first thing that comes to my mind. But how do we trust it when we don't know what's ahead? Is that what you mean?
Yes, yes,
So it's difficult, and our discernment has to come into play with that as well. Like if I had just trusted that information that I needed to leave that area, but I didn't do any research on where I was going to go or what I was going to do from there, then that probably wouldn't have worked out so well. So part of it, I think, has to do with combining our psychic abilities with our reasoning abilities and our abilities to get things lined up so that we'll be taken care of in a situation that if we're planning to change. But we don't always know what's going to happen. We often don't know, and that seems to be a theme of this reality. We don't even know what's happening inside of our own bodies most of the time. And so when I understand that that seems to be a theme here of this realm, and I truly do believe that we came here to experience what we are not, then I understand that I'm not going to have foresight about everything I need to do. I have discernment because of past life experience, and I have guidance from spirit. And for me, I have to find a way to balance those two things. So you won't get the clarity first in most cases, and that's part of the experience here on Earth, this place that is meant to grow our souls from a standpoint of pretty limited perspective on almost everything that we do. I don't know that there's a real easy answer to that question. That I
yeah,
think part of the soul growth is that trust and that faith. And they say that faith is the emotion that opens the crown chakra, which is the doorway to the divine guidance. So I like thinking about that when I'm afraid to trust that guidance. And I've done it many times. I built this business just by letting spirit drive and taking some chances. And I think that when we can do that and we stay in a high vibration, it will generally work out for us. And like you said earlier, it doesn't always look like what we want it to look like at first.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle.
Right.
Yeah, it was very, very inspiring discussion. So thank you for that. And also, can we start taking questions from the audience?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah. So the first one from V. For many years, I would get strong sense messages from my loved ones like flowers, tobacco, and popcorn, but that hasn't come through in over a year. Why would it stop? Thank you.
Our abilities, thank you for the question. And you're talking about an ability called clairalience, or the ability to smell information from spirit. And it's very common that our abilities wax and wane. It could be that the spirit that was giving you that information is no longer communicating for whatever reason that is. And people think it's their fault usually, but sometimes spirits just have other things to do, and they're not always available for communication. Um, if you want an ability to come back or to stay strong, it usually requires constant attention to that ability and some sort of practice with that ability as well. So with something like clairalience or smelling, you could, if you want that to come back, you could thank your spirit guides and you could thank your higher self and your physical constitution for allowing you, for coming to you and for allowing you to sense that again. It could be something to do with as simple as a change in your environment within your house or within you. For instance, if I eat certain things, I can dim down some of my abilities, and sometimes I can make them go away. And if I do other things like fast, they come back. So it's hard to say. Let me just tune in and see if I can pick up on your particular situation. Isn't the name was V?
Yes, V, just the
Okay,
letter V. Yeah.
yeah. I think that if you started a practice of any kind of psychic practice, something's going to start happening for you again. It's like it's right there waiting. It's just right there for you. So I don't know any exercises for clairalience, but I would say to try some exercises for clairvoyance or for clairaudience where you quiet your mind in meditation and know that you're going to have thoughts, but just see how long you can keep your mind quiet and observe those thoughts. Try to either listen to every sound you hear coming in or to visualize some shapes or faces in your mind. If you visualize things, that's going to help the clairaudience, I mean, the clairvoyance start getting stronger. And if you start listening for different sounds and just try to pick up as many sounds as you can pick up on, that's going to increase your ability to hear. And what I just saw was that through working on other senses, I think all of your senses are going to start coming back online more. Then also, I would say spend more time quiet in your mind as much as if you could, like every day at the same time each day. Try a little exercise of quiet in your mind for 10 or 15 minutes. And I think that will help you. It seems like you actually have pretty strong abilities, but they seem like they're off to the side for some reason.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, V, for your question. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can type it on the chat. And we have Linda. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, Michelle. It's lovely to
Hi.
hear you. I love Donna Eden medicine and all that. I've worked with that for quite a few years. Um, I had about 6 months, 7 months ago, I had a husband who passed over. Is there any message at all from him, if at all possible?
What's his name?
James.
Okay. Well, I get a feeling that James is fine, that James has crossed over just fine. And I almost wonder if something went wrong in some way at the end of his life. And I see a heart. Sometimes I see a heart because the heart stopped for some other reason, but I just see like a heart stopping and breath ending.
Yep.
Not okay. He says that you're strong. You're stronger than you think you are, and that something about all is not lost. That there's something still waiting for you. And
I
I don't know
hope
if the
so.
I don't know if the color yellow is significant, but yellow flashed across my vision. And is there something you're planning coming up, or did you just have a party or it feels like something coming, a celebration of some
Yeah,
sort?
my great grandson is being born.
He wants you to know that he can see you. They often will show it to me like a one-way mirror, like they can see us in and we can't see out. And we're like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And he's saying, "I'm right here. I'm right here, and I love you." You still have something to do here, and I don't know what you do, but it feels like you have some sort of purpose in sharing this information as well to people. Maybe it's other widows. Uh, I feel like you have a way of expressing that could help other people, and I feel like this is coming from James right now. Are you involved with many like-minded people or people who talk about this kind of information?
Yeah, yes, a lot of talking about spiritual stuff. Yes, very much so. I also do massage, and I used to be able to feel when something was off. Now I can only feel it through heat. I would love to get that back again so I can see what's going on. I don't know if that's a possibility for me anywhere because I don't have any clients, but I do work on family and friends.
Yeah, and so that's the answer is to practice it with the intention, thanking your guides. Every time I do a reading or any session, I will do a specific thank you. So if I'm going to do a reading with someone, I say in the name of the highest good, thank you to so and so's departed loved ones and their guides. Thank you for working with me. Is with so much gratitude that I'm of service in this way. And so when you can drum up all that gratitude and
I do. Yeah.
yeah, and be of service, then it'll start to come back for you. But you have to have that intention and practice it on a really regular basis. If we
Oh, I
don't
do.
practice,
Yeah.
yeah, so keep doing that. I think it will come back for you. And what I just heard was that you have grief and that the grief is blocking your ability to feel it, that you're still just as psychic as you always were, but grief will get in our way. And because it's just a very different vibration than where spirit is. And so I feel like just even hearing from him right now is going to help you raise your vibration. And he's showing me a book. It's called Destiny of Souls. Have you ever heard of that book?
Is that by Michael somebody?
Michael Newton, yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, she's showing me that book, and I'm not sure why he's showing it to me, but if you don't have that book, you might want to check that one out.
Okay.
So I do think you can get your abilities back, but grief seems to be a part of it in some way.
Hmm. Interesting, because I thought I was over it.
It comes off in layers, and so maybe there's just still something there lingering. And I also, again, I feel like just hearing this information is going to make a change in you. Pay attention to all those subtleties and keep track of them, Linda. Like I said before, I don't think I would be here right now if my husband hadn't written all that stuff down. I would have forgotten it. I would have made light of it. And when I went back and I read that journal of all those things that happened to me, or things that I could validate with my clients, um, it was life changing for me. And when you get that sense of empowerment, then things get even stronger for you. So keep a journal of everything that's happening that you feel is coming from spirit, synchronicities, things that come through for the people you're working on. You have to tell them what's coming through, even when it doesn't seem like it might not make any sense. Say it anyway. It's okay to be wrong. Um, but start that practice. When I got to the point where I could just say almost anything to somebody and not care how silly I sounded, then the abilities really grew fast. And sometimes I said the craziest things, like I just was so embarrassed to say them, but I was glad I did because it changed things. Like I was in the middle of a sentence one time and I had a sudden urge to stop the sentence and say Mack truck. And I didn't know why. So I did it. And they knew exactly who the spirit was at that point when I said Mack truck. One time I just wrote pollywog on my paper and I was like, well, that's a random thought. But when I said it to the person, she said, oh, that's my mom. We used to sing a song about a pollywog. I was like, okay. So start putting it out there more. The more you connect with spirit and the more you have the strength, like mentally, to go ahead and put it out there and not care if you're wrong or not, you just want to work for spirit and help people, your abilities will strengthen if you do that consistently.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, and your husband loves you very much.
Okay. It's really
Me.
hard to believe, but thank you.
You know, when they come from the spirit world and you've had a hard time here in this life with them, they
Terrible.
often, they show me a higher perspective when they get to the spirit world, and they often do have an apology. So, our perspective is very limited here in this body, and we get lost in emotion. But when they come out of the body, there's clarity.
Well, I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Mansa.
Thank you, Linda. And yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle, for the guidance.
Sure.
And we have feedback from V. She wrote, thank you. I will try those at the same time every day. I have teenagers, so visualization is easier.
Good,
Uh,
good. You might want to try something too called binaural beats, Binaural beats. it's tones that go into your different ears differently, and it generates a meditative state. And so if you have a lot of distractions, that could really help you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And a question from Annette. What is the message for me when my family members who've passed come to me in dreams?
Well, I think you're getting multiple messages from family members in dreams. Give me a moment here, Annette. There's there's one spirit that seems to be trying to get your attention. Hold on a second here. Have you had a situation in your dream where you felt like a spirit might need help?
Annette, you can type the answer, or also if you can unmute yourself.
Well, while we wait for her answer,
She wrote, I always feel lost and in danger.
okay. There does seem to be a spirit here trying to get your attention that is not quite crossed over yet. It seems like they want to get somebody's attention to get some help to move over, to cross over. I'm curious if you're having a specific person come over and over in a dream to you. If that's the case, what I would do is for that person, I would, with a lot of gratitude and as much love as you can muster up, I would thank that person's higher self for coming to retrieve their earthbound spirit and taking it back to where it serves their highest good. I do think there might be somebody trying to get your attention. And I think that you have abilities, to mediumship abilities and an ability to actually assist a spirit crossover. And if we can generate a state of bliss within ourselves, then we can basically create a bridge for that spirit to cross over. The other thing that comes up about it is it seems like there's another dream that might be happening repetitively, that has to do with fears, and uh, and that your manifestation powers are pretty strong. And so when you're having a specific fear and you have a really scary dream, a lot of times it's that stuff playing out in your dreams. And I feel like there's some aspect of trauma that might have happened to you. I don't know if it's emotional or physical, that could use some more healing. Um, but the mediumship is really getting my attention because you might be what we call an open channel, where you're just getting a lot of different stuff coming through and having either astral travel or out of body stuff that you're either not quite aware of or don't know what to do with. Not sure if that resonates with you.
She wrote, yes, fears. Where is my fears? Where is my house? Where is my room? Where is my bed, etc. And she wrote mostly her mom that's come through.
I wrote mother on my paper the first thing when she started talking, and so I wondered if your mother needed help crossing over. I didn't want to get too personal, but if I were you, I would call on your mother's higher self to assist you in creating the energy around your mom, just in the name of the highest good. I call upon my mom's higher self to retrieve her earthbound spirit and take it back to where it serves the highest good for all there is. And I thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is with so much gratitude and of service in this way. And so it is. That's what I would do, because I think someone's asking you for help. But the other thing that's happening is I think you have a lot of fears and they're playing out in your dreams. So I think it's two things at least happening there.
She wrote, thanks so much. Thank my mother.
She hears you.
Yeah.
If you need any help with that, reach out to me.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle. And also thank you, Annette, for your question. Yeah, we have more questions and on the chat, and also callers raising their hands. I just want to take maybe a couple of minutes to let our audience that you are offering one-on-one sessions, 3 types. And I invite them to visit the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, Michelle. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live events page, later on the replay page, the link on YouTube video description, and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. So we have three, I lost the page. 3 sessions. The first one is 60 minutes one-on-one psychic medium reading. Second one, 60 minutes one-on-one psychic mentorship session. And the third one, also 60 minutes one-on-one session, which is light language activation. So Michelle, I would love if you can tell us more about these sessions.
Sure. All three of them? Okay. So during a psychic reading, it's either by Zoom over the phone, or if you were in the Eugene, Oregon area, you could come in person. And I will do whatever you want during a reading. Whether you want me to connect with departed loved ones, I can do that. I can just see what comes up about your life. You can ask questions. Some people come with a list of questions. Some people just want to see what comes up and what spirits are there to communicate. And I'm happy to do any of that. For psychic mentorship, it's a different kind of session where I help you with wherever you are, with exercises and homework and instructions and intuitive guidance about what you're going through to help you move forward in whatever way you want to move forward. Some people I meet, they want to become better Reiki practitioners. Some people want to start a practice where they're doing psychic work. Some people want to get a light language practice or a sound healing practice going, and I can work with you in a lot of different ways to help you with that, with regard to psychic stuff and also business. And then a light language activation. A long time ago, I realized that I, in a lot of cases, only had to have people repeat a few light language words after me, and then they would just immediately start speaking it as if they had been doing it for years. And it blew my mind. And it was what made me realize that everybody had the ability for light language, that it was encoded in our DNA, probably partly so we could learn so many languages easily. But it's a tool we all have for raising our vibration, for manifesting, for relieving stress. There's a lot of things we can do with light language. And so that's the third session, is I work with people to get them speaking it. And frequently during an hour session, we end the session and they start speaking it. So that's been really incredible to watch and realize that how special humans are in that regard. So what I do basically for that session is we talk about it, and then I have you repeat words after me. And then when you're ready, you start to speak in. But what happens is people tend to get a little tongue-tied, and then whatever their innate light language is starts coming out. It's quite a beautiful thing.
Oh, wow, that's very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that experience. And also thank you for offering the 3 type of sessions, because everyone has different needs, whether they need a reading or mentorship to open their psychic gifts, or channel and speak the light language. So thank you very much, and I feel very honored to share your work and this audience with our sessions with our audience here on the show. So thank you very much, Michelle. And
thank you.
And again, everyone, you can visit the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, Michelle. And then you can find the session that resonates more with you. And so can we continue with the questions?
Sure.
All right. So Tina, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm wondering if there's any messages from my partner who passed away. His name is Michael. Him and my dad passed away within 2 weeks' time. So
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty much, it's been 3 years now, but Mike and I just had such a connection. And I don't know, I just recently was told by a friend of mine, you need to just let him go. And I'm like, but I just had the most wonderful experience I shared with you. like we had a big thing like with songs. Like he literally sent me messages through songs. Like I just got a full body chill. Oh, like I mean, I remember going down the road one time. Right, I gotta write this down. I write this down, and I read everything. I'm like, holy crap, you're doing it to me again. So how can like when she says let him go? I'm like, but he's with me, and
I
I think
don't.
we have something to do together. I don't know, but I'll just stop. I'll let you.
Oh no, that's beautiful. And I have a strong thing with getting messages from spirit in song as well. It's something they do, and it's quite remarkable that they can do that. And I'm not exactly sure how they do it. Like they get our attention to turn the radio on at a certain time, or perhaps they can even mess with the electronics. I've gotten the craziest messages in songs and songs I didn't even know the words to, and I would look up the words and I'd be like, oh my God, how could this be so real? But it is.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, they called him Easy was his nickname, and that Sunday morning, I turn on like the YouTube channel all day or whatever, and the first thing that came on was Easy like Sunday
easy like Sunday
morning. I'm
morning,
like,
yeah. um,
go ahead.
yeah, I don't think you have to let him go to be able to move forward in your life. I think that he can be in your life in a different way, and I do believe you're receiving communication from him. Did he have anything wrong with his chest area, breathing or lung?
I think that's yeah. Yeah, they said he had stage 4 cancer. I thought we were curing it. I still think maybe COVID or spike or something came to him because I really think we were curing the cancer part. He drank 70 some ounces of fluid the day that he died. Like I don't, but I'm the only one that took care of him. Like I was 24/7. We had no help. And when he died, actually, he came to me. Like I went to lay down, and I just realized talking, listen to this. I had a full body. Like he went through my whole body. Like I didn't realize that's exactly what happened. I won't get into details because it was a little,
No,
but
I
wow.
think he did. And that happened to me too when my dad died. He says thank you. The reason I just asked because I saw like breathing, trouble breathing, and I wondered
Yeah, he
if that
did.
was
He had trouble breathing. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So that just gives me some
And
validation.
I kind of blame myself. Like what? Why did I? Even though I know it's like it was his time, there's that still little thing in there that goes, "What else could have I done?"
I just wrote it down.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. There was nothing else you could have done. It was just his time. Oh,
No,
I'm
that's
so
so much, but yeah, I do know that.
yeah.
I just miss him. Yep.
I know, I know. Well, let me tell
I
you, one thing he showed me was this practice called automatic writing. Go online and
yes,
just look up.
I know.
You doing it already?
I, yes, and I did it for him when he was alive. Like I sent a message, a 4-page message for him, and I know it. And I keep on hearing writing, and for some reason, I keep stopping myself. And I do have messages from him from writing, and I know all that. Why don't I?
Yeah, it's real. Keep doing
It
it.
is. I need to
Yeah,
stop believing in me. Yep.
it's real. I'm telling you, it is. And he wants you to communicate with him in this way.
I do it all the time when I sit down and just really do it, and then I think I'm making it up in my head, and he's like,
That's
"Stop stopping yourself."
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're not
And
making it
I
up,
just have
Tina.
I have a question because I keep on hearing like somebody else I asked, and they said mom, and at first they said because of the M or I don't know, but anyway, is he trying to get me to communicate with his mom? Because the whole when he passed, there was a lot of problems with his family and stuff, and I miss her so much. But his son was so evil to me that I'm concerned about bringing that back into my life. And she keeps in with my daughter and stuff, but I sort of was. He actually did stuff to my truck and everything. Like I'm a little scared to go communicate with his mom, but I need to do it soon because she's getting, anyway. Was that what he was trying to tell me? Go talk to
That's
mom.
really interesting because I had written the word truck down earlier and I forgot to ask you if you had a connection with truck. What's the mom's name? What's her first name?
Mary Kay.
Okay, hold on. What I keep seeing is that there's a way that the two of you can comfort each other still.
I know there is. That's what I keep on telling my friend, telling
Yeah,
my daughter who talks to her. I said, I just know, like, I still want to talk about him.
yeah.
I
I think
still
she
want to
does
remember
too.
him. And she does
Yeah,
too. my daughter said when she was there over the holidays, they didn't even bring his name up or anything. And I just like, wow, because
I
that
know
was her
some
only
people.
son and that was her world. They worked together, they did everything together. And like, I just know I could be there to help her. So maybe I
I
should just need to do that.
I feel that as well, that you could be there to help her, and that I saw the two of you like coming together and being able to comfort each other.
Yeah, stay out of the fear part and don't worry about his son. I'm not really scared of him. I just need to stop that.
Yeah, let that
Yeah.
go. I do
Yeah.
think
Well,
he
I mean, it
communicated with
scared
you.
me at the time, but his anger and his whatever is his stuff, and I just need to let him deal with however he needs to deal with things.
Yeah,
So
I would
yeah.
stay away from him, but I think
Oh
connecting
yeah.
back with Mary Kay would be something that would be helpful for
It's
both of you.
hard because he's actually he I think he blocked my phone so I can't call her. He took things off my computer that Mike and I had together. I mean, he's done so much to keep us apart because he's all about money and all about like and I don't even care. Like I walked away from it all. Like I just want to
Yeah,
love.
he sounds really controlling, and that's kind of a worrisome behavior right there.
Oh, he has a not even it's beyond controlling. It's actually yeah. So
Yeah.
I just
Nope.
that's where I've been so not talking to Mary Kay because I don't want to bring that kind of energy around me and I don't want to be in that fear anymore. So
And it's
I'll figure out a
okay.
way to do it.
And it's okay if you don't, but what comes through really strongly is that he does want to communicate with you, and that the automatic writing communication is real.
So start doing it some more. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
Thank
book,
you.
I forgot the name of it. I think it's called Finding Jordan. And it's about a father who wrote a book with his son that died. And it's all about automatic writing. You might want to look for that book.
Well, and actually, when I just asked you the question about us working together, and I think that's how we're supposed to do it. Because
I
I
think so
think
too.
we have a major story to tell. Actually, to tell you the truth, we've been through a lot, and he, as much as he didn't believe in this when I woke up in 2012, he'd go out and get me like Long Island Medium or affirmations, and then he'd tell me you're crazy, or he'd say you need to go talk to people that like more your hippie people or something more. But he did support it. But at the very end, he believed. He went
Yeah.
from one to so yeah we got rid of some things for him and we were meant to be together and I think we'll be together again. So
I think you will too.
yeah. Thank you very much. I didn't mean to take up all this time, but
That's all right. Thank you,
I
Tina.
really needed to hear this because he was my strength and I've sort of lost it all since he's
You,
been
you,
gone and I really need to
I think that
I
doing that
have the
practice,
strength, but yeah,
you can
thank
get
you.
it back. Yeah.
Oh, I have it. I have it. It's right here. I hear him going, no, you didn't lose anything.
Still there.
Yeah, yeah, and I didn't lose him. I mean, we just are communicating in a different level. And I mean, the man came through so many times and still comes through. And actually, can I help? Can you hear my cat in the background growling? Is there
No.
something I could do for her? I keep on trying. She's spinning on her tail. The energy that comes around sometimes, I don't know. I keep on putting on frequency music to help her calm down when she starts up.
Sometimes that frequency music can be a little high pitched for animals too.
Yeah. Oh, I don't put
Yeah.
that on. No, when I put something like I don't have it on now, but when she does, I put it on and it puts her out. It's called
Oh, good.
musical rapture. Actually, it was the same thing I had Mike listen to, by Patricia Cobo Rose, whatever her son wrote it from the other side. This
Uh-huh.
music was a musician, and he when I changed it for Mike when he was in pain, he's like, "What are you doing? What's this music?" And I'm like, "Well, I thought I'd try something different." He goes, "Why change something if it's working?" I'm like, "It actually said work." So yeah, we use that for the cat too. Yep. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Much love to
Thank you,
everyone.
Tina. Thank you. Much
Thank you.
love.
Did I take up all the time everybody left?
Yeah, I don't know where I don't know what happened.
Well, I asked my ancestors to come in and tell them to wipe everybody else out. Hello,
Monsef, are you
anybody?
still there? I wonder if we
That's pretty wild.
yeah, interesting.
It doesn't surprise me.
Oh, how odd. I'm not sure what I do from here.
I don't either.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, okay. You guys can still hear us? Just us two? Okay, good.
No, the host got disconnected, not you.
Okay.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
maybe we knocked you all out of here.
No, 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 no. Well, does someone else have a question while we wait for Monsef to come back? I don't know
Do
how
you
to
hear me?
take care of
Do you
all
hear me?
this.
Mary,
Yeah,
he's
there
back.
we are.
I
Yay.
don't know what happened. The router, the Wi-Fi just stopped working, and
Glad you're back.
yeah.
My partner and
Uh,
them wanted some more time. They didn't want to cut me off. No, I'm just kidding. Bye now.
so yeah, so the recording will be because it's recorded on the cloud, so it will not be cut. So yeah. So we move to the next question, right? Oh, I have all the chat empty, so I can't see the questions written. But we have Jackie. Can you please unmute yourself?
Oh,
Hi, Jackie.
hello. Can you hear
Hello.
me? Hello.
Hear
Yes.
you just
Yes.
fine. Yep.
I have a question. I keep having these high expectations of people and becoming disappointed. And I just kind of wondered, what can you tell me about that or help me with that?
Yeah. Um, I had that as well. And I heard somebody say one time, my serenity is inversely proportional to my expectations, meaning that the more I expect, the less happy I am, the less peaceful I am. And I took that to heart and I thought, wow, I don't have to let that control me. And what I realized is that, there's a lot of people here on the planet and we're in different stages of soul development. And that when I found myself getting upset, getting disappointed in people, I found that it was lowering my vibration. And that when I was able to try to see every situation that disappointed me from a different perspective of, okay, why did they do that? Why would they do something like that? And I can just give you like a non-personal example of like somebody recently cut me off in traffic on the interstate and it was scary. And my first instinct was to be angry. And then I realized, well, that's just going to weaken me. That's going to make my day not go well, and that I have no control over this at all. And so instead, my mind went to this other narrative that it made up where, okay, maybe today's the last day this guy can be late for work and he loses his job if he's late. And then his family, doesn't have a place to live anymore. And so I try to raise my perspective around every situation. I don't always know why it happened or why a person's doing what they're doing. But if I can get myself to the place of higher perspective and opening my heart around the situation, then my life goes easier. And so if for no other reason, excuse my language, but to not flip that person off in traffic or be really mad and want to curse at them, I remember that that will only hurt me and that everyone is doing what they're doing for some reason. I don't always understand those reasons or agree with them, but if I can try to see it from a higher perspective, then I feel better and my life moves along with greater ease. That's the best advice I can give you is people are going to do things on this planet that we don't like. And we all have free will. And I think that part of our job here as souls experiencing this great human compression of our soul is to find a way to open our hearts in a world of people who are not going to open theirs. And when we can do that, then we have leveled our soul up, so to speak. I think maybe many lifetimes. Not that we're not supposed to get angry, it's just supposed to move us into another situation. So that's not everyone's favorite answer, but that's what works for me and how I feel like I stay safe in this world and keep moving forward without getting stopped up in anger.
Well, I agree. It's just becomes hard when they're close to you,
It really
right?
does. When they're family members, it's so hard. And it's even harder to have that boundary when they're a family member. And so for me, sometimes I have to separate from that to some degree to protect myself, or I have to exert boundaries that not everybody likes. Um, but again, it's not, I don't know that this place was ever really meant to be easy. It was meant to grow our souls and we're going to have some hard things we have to go through. And sometimes it's hard to get away from those people. Sometimes it's your job, sometimes it's your family. But for me, the answer is always a change in perspective, to realize that if I stay pissed off or upset, then it's going to affect me in a negative way. And I don't want that. I've got things to do that are not in agreement with that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackie. And thank you, Michelle. Let's see. I think it's Joshua on the phone, and then with 677. Hello.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Hi.
Hi. My question is, I've been having a lot of clairaudience and clair visuals happening, like seeing a lot of different orbs, and it's been picking up like a lot, and I'm hearing a lot, and I'm wondering any guidance on kind of hearing it, like the message more clearly. And if you could possibly tap in to kind of see what's going on with my clear seeing and clear hearing, because they seem to be really getting turned up a lot.
Your name's Joshua?
Yes.
Okay, hold
you.
on just a moment. Sure. Joshua, it seems like you're in a period of what they're calling activation. It reminds me of I saw an astrology chart. I don't know if it's exactly that, but it reminds me of like a certain time in your life you're set up for this to get stronger for you. That it's built in, that this is related to your purpose. It feels like, I don't know what you do for a job, but it does feel like you're here for
My main thing I'm most passionate about is music. I do sound healing, kirtan, a singer-songwriter, and drumming. Music's like, a lot of my life.
So you're being activated, it seems like, and it seems like it's built into your life at this time, for things to get stronger and for an awakening. Also, I'm wondering if you've recently done something to get healthier. It feels like something shifted vibrationally in you for the better. And I don't know if it was from your music or food or.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of clean eating, a lot of different like nettle tea, herbs, fasting.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
The more we clean up our physical system, the more psychic we usually become. And so it totally makes sense what you're doing, is making your abilities go up. So two things, I think you're one of the reasons you cleaned up is because of this activation. And I think that it's related to your purpose. So in order to keep making it stronger, one really great exercise for clairvoyance is to, in meditation, binaural beats are really good for creating visuals in people when they're meditating. And there's a website, if I'm allowed to say this website,
Yes.
there's a it's Hemi, HEMI -SYNC.com. And that's a creation of Bob Monroe, who's an old out-of-body experiencer from way back. And there's all kinds of different audios you can listen to that that you can download and listen to that will stimulate your clairvoyance. So I would try that, and then also visualizing something like the alphabet, trying to see letters one at a time with your eyes closed, will usually open up your third eye even more. It doesn't have to be letters, it can be shapes or colors, but try to have a consistent practice each day where you're visualizing something. For a lot of people, that visualization exercise turns into an even greater ability to see information from spirit. For me, it will turn on light shows, like with my eyes closed, I'll see lights, and then a portal will open and I'll see either information or faces. And I think that's going to happen for you. And then with regard to clairaudience, I would be surprised if you end up starting getting messages to people. It seems like it really does seem strong. And so I would start writing some things down that are coming to you clairaudiently and see if you can do some validation with people around it. Um, just ask them questions, is this true, or do you have this going on in your body, or, is this happening with your cat? See if you can write some things down that you're hearing and start working with some people to get validation around it. Because I don't know exactly what your purpose is, but you feel like some sort of a way shower to me, somebody who's here to um, spread this message about our divinity. And I think it's coming online for you at a really special time in the realm where things are starting to open up, and there's a massive spiritual awakening happening. And I think you're meant to be part of that, is what comes through.
Thank you so much. Those are all very helpful.
Yeah,
I'm
keep
grateful
going with
for
it.
your guidance.
You're welcome. Keep going with it. I think you're here to do something pretty important with regard to shifting people's perspective and energies.
Thank you. Received.
Yeah,
Blessings
thank
to
you.
you.
Blessings to
Blessings,
you.
Mamsa.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joshua. Much love. And thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle, for the guidance. And we have a member with the account's name iPhone 3. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, sorry.
Hello.
My name's Jackie, another Jackie.
Okay, welcome, Jackie.
Hi, thank you. My question is, what are some of the blocks that get in the way of receiving spiritual guidance? I don't necessarily feel any draw towards psychic abilities, but I definitely feel a draw towards having spiritual guidance.
Yeah. So the things that are in the way, there can be a number of things in the way. One of the biggest things that gets in the way is doubt, and it was one of the biggest ones for me as well. And when I let go of that doubt, and the only way I was able to let go of the doubt was by learning more, as much as I could, about this information. When I was able to let go of the doubt, uh, it got way stronger. And that is what happens for people. So doubt is one of the biggest things in our way. And if you just think about it, like, if you just to simplify, if you think about spirit worlds way up high and doubts way down low on the vibrational scale of emotions,
Mm-hmm.
we have to raise our vibration to meet spirit, and it said that spirit has to lower theirs to meet us. And so if we're in a state of doubt, fear, anger, depression, that kind of stuff, then it's going to be hard to feel that information or to notice that information, even though it's always there. And so fear is the next one, probably just as debilitating as doubt when it comes to our abilities. So if we have fear around what's coming through, or just that we have abilities, it'll get in the way. If we have a fear of being wrong, it will often get in the way. There are certain substances that will get in the way, like heavily processed foods, sugars, alcohol. That stuff tends to dull down our psychic senses. And just a lack of not purposefully connecting will make a person feel like there is no connection, because again, it's just so subtle that especially for adults, that if we don't really take time and devote time to feeling that stuff, then we don't feel it as much. If we every synchronicity we have, if we give it credit, and we thank spirit for working with us, those synchronicities get stronger. Um, so it's like kind of use it or lose it. You don't really lose it, but you lose the feeling that you're connected to it, even though they're still there. Your departed loved ones and your guides and angels are still there. You just don't feel it as much. So I would say, not practicing, fear, doubt, and then it could be as well, we can dull down our abilities with certain substances. If you're using things like fluoride. Fluoride is a known neurotoxin that will work to block our psychic abilities. And almost every pharmaceutical almost every medication has fluoride in it. So some people have to take medications, but when you can minimize that kind of thing and then get off all processed foods, pay attention to all the synchronicities, give them credit, thank your guides for joining you every day, let go of fear and doubt as best you can. Those things tend to get stronger for us. But it never really goes away. It's just we have to tune back into it. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, it did. It did. I raised religiously. All of that was very scary. I was not something that we were supposed to do. So I know that that is something that gets in the way a bit.
I can
So
relate to that too. I grew up Catholic and went to school in a convent, and it's interesting because on one level I'm like, oh, okay, well I've been talking to spirits my whole life, these Jesus and all that and Mary and so that seemed pretty normal, but at the same time they're like, oh, that's from the devil. I'm like, wait a minute, how can it be both? It's just who we are. We're all divine like that. So try to let that old stuff go because it's who we are. It's just who we are. And it's really common that we get traumatized by religion and that we become afraid of this stuff. And honestly, not to, be negative, but from what I remember about growing up Catholic, it was very fear-based. There was a lot of scary stuff they were talking about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine was Jehovah Witness, so they had it was
I have
basically
familiarity. Yeah.
yeah.
I worked
All
with
right.
some people recovering from that religion.
Yeah. I want to start the Jehovah Witness protection program.
Well, I know somebody actually who's doing that in the area. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You say that. I think it needs to happen in more than
Yeah.
just one place.
Yes. I'm definitely going to do a session with you. I'm not too far from you, so
Oh, right on. It'd be lovely to meet
yes.
you. You sound
You
like you have
too.
what I call healer energy.
Yeah, that is a draw for sure. But there's all the fear and the doubt in the way.
Yeah, I can
Gotta
relate.
let that go.
Thank you,
Okay,
Jackie.
thank you so much. You're
I look forward to
beautiful.
meeting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Mansa.
Thank you,
Yes.
Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Much
Thank
love.
you.
And yes, we have 5 minutes left. Can we take one more question?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's from Sue. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, Monisette.
Hello, Sue.
Michelle, my name is
Hi.
Sue. Thank you, Monisette. Okay, Michelle, here's my question. My gifts have really come online. I'm aware of that. I'm actually with my eyes open during the day. I've been connecting with the fifth dimensional site, actually the other realm. Plus in the 3D, though, I'm trying to work on my site, trying to keep it here in 3D. I've been having issues. But anyway, the house I'm in now, I know we're like in a portal. I don't know if you can pick up on that or not. I live basically on sacred Indian burial ground. It's like a development, but every time I come into our development, I feel like I'm just walking through like a portal. And I noticed my gifts have really come online when I'm in my house or in the portal. But I don't understand the purpose of why they want me to keep seeing in the 5D world when I'm living here in the 3D world.
Do you mind telling me the name of the town where you live?
Well, I
Or
live
the
in
state?
East Allen Township, and it's
I didn't catch that. Say that again.
East Allen Township.
Okay.
Near me, I'm near like what they call Catasauqua, Hackadakwa, Copley. They're all areas right around me, so it's all Indian territory.
Yeah. Okay.
So I know I'm on. In fact, there was actually Indian massacres, like they call it the Weaversville Hotel. It's a very famous hotel where it's even in the histories. Well, anyway, I just feel like I'm in this portal, and I don't know if I'm thinking about this or if it's for real because of just things that happen. All the storms will go our house, like our development. We could have violent storms. They're up to the north or south of us. We're like in a wedge. When I go outside, nature just feels different. And I noticed, like I said, it's almost like I'm in another realm or a timeline when we come into our development. I feel disconnected from the rest of the world.
Okay, give me just another moment with this. Hold on a second here.
Okay.
It really reminds me of something I heard one time about a place in Oregon where there was just a lot of spirits moving through, and she said it's like a spirit superhighway, and that's what I feel like. Like there's like a pathway through the area.
Mm-hmm.
The energy is different in that area for sure. It does feel that way. I don't know if I would call it a portal, but I do feel a vibrational difference there. Um, Give me just another moment here to get more specific about you. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, what's going on?
There are many spirits there that you could assist. Um, do you ever feel like there's darkness around?
Every now and then, but normally we flood the house with white light, and I never feel, every now and then I swear that somebody comes through the house and they, like, I feel like they either make me bump into something or
I think they're trying to get your attention because I think you can do like similar what I was talking about earlier is you can call on the higher selves of any earthbound spirits that are still hanging out in that area, and I do think there are, to retrieve those spirits and take them back to where it serves their highest good. I think that one of the reasons this is becoming so obvious to you is your ability to assist. And we all have that ability if we can raise our vibration enough with love and gratitude, which I think that you can, because you seem like a natural to me. You seem like somebody who has done this in other lives. A lot of soul experience is what it feels like to me.
Because I knew there were vortexes here, and I told my husband, we got to get these people out of this house. So we did. They're all out of my house, but I think
they're around though. Yeah. And so
they're around
maybe
outside. They're around out. Yeah, because we cleared them out of here. I said, you got to go. You're stuck here. Because I would have dreams about them.
Yeah. So try like drawing the property, like the whole place you live, the subdivision. Just, it doesn't have to be exact, but draw it on a piece of paper, and then thank the higher selves of any and all earthbound spirits that have not crossed over in that vicinity to retrieve their souls, their spirit, and take it back to where it serves their highest good for all there is. And just repeat over and over again a few times how happy you are to be of service. And then at the end, say, and so it is, several times. And that should build enough energy that you will be able to cross them over. This is something that has actually been scientifically shown that when we go into a really strong state of gratitude, we change our electromagnetic frequency, and we can connect in with the reality in a different way, and we can connect in outside of the reality in a different way, and help create a movement for a stuck spirit. And I really think that they're getting your attention in this way because you're one of many people who have this ability to help with it.
Oh, wow. Now, my last question is like part 2 of this. When I get the 5D vision, I call it, I'm kind of getting more used to it now because I had lost my central vision in the physical plane here. But yet, when I see the 5D vision, I got perfect vision, and I'm looking awake, and I'm like, really, people? So anyway, but I keep seeing Jesus, and he has on blue sunglasses. And I know he's Blu-ray. I get that. I guess he's one of my guides. But now and then I'll be sitting, and I'll see blue sunglasses by themselves floating by. What are they trying to tell me?
I'm here. You're part of this. I feel like it's just like one of those things to get your attention and remind you that you're part of this. this is part of your purpose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a synchronicity to get your attention.
Oh, okay.
And you have, obviously you have clairvoyance if you're seeing that. Um, and when you say
Yeah.
5D vision, you remind me of how there's these kids. They're being worked with by some different scientists who they get blindfolded and they can actually read a book with their eyes blindfolded. An opening happens within their closed eye vision, and they're able to see into the book and read that book. And so that's really interesting that you said that. It reminds me of that.
Right, because I said to my husband, I'd love to read again, love to drive again, but can't do it right now with all this,
Yeah.
I still think, though, my other vision is slowly coming back because I think I have accepted the 5D vision routine. But I was just trying to figure out the purpose of the 5D vision since we live in the 3D world.
Yeah. Well, I think you're
Trying to-
living in more than one world at a time. We all are, but you're
Oh,
becoming aware.
really? Like, what world am I in anymore?
Well, we
So,
project our consciousness into this realm. We're not just here. And I think that you're being made aware of that there's more here than what meets the physical. And they're getting your attention to see that you might have an even greater spiritual purpose that you could engage in.
and I'm just not understanding it yet.
Well, hopefully this
Oh,
helped you understand it, because I think that you have these mediumship abilities, and that if you say what I said to you, if you repeat that with a lot of gratitude and the intention for those spirits to move on, I think you'll actually do it.
That's what okay, then I think, they're basically telling me I have to go outside. That's where, it's somewhere, it's somewhere in our block here. And they're
That's what
still not at rest.
That's what I think, yeah.
Because I'll see like blood sometimes, like in the house, like what's with the blood?
And that's
So
why I
thought,
asked about the darkness, yeah.
so they need to be released. Okay, I understand. Yeah.
And
The
you can do
gatekeep-
it. I would repeat what I said. Just watch this recording and write that down, and then repeat that pretty much exactly. And just feel a lot of happiness around it, that you can be of service in both the 3D and the 5D, so to speak.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It is cool, yeah.
I didn't know I had that gift.
We are really amazing as humans. We are amazing spirits compressed in these bodies, and we have pretty strong, crazy abilities. And we underestimate it, but it's real.
But that's why I was meant to talk to you. So I know now there was something I was missing. I'm like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And now, I have to release people. They're stuck. All right.
You don't have to, but I think it will be good if you do, and that you'll.
Good for them also. They're stuck and they need to move on. So
it's a great service for humanity to do that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Many blessings to you. I really appreciate it.
Same to you, Sue. Thank you very much for the question.
Very much. And you have beautiful gifts also. I could feel it in you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Monisset. Thank you for letting me have acknowledgement today and understanding what another purpose of mine is. You're just such a great host and have on the most wonderful people that have helped me through this journey with a lot of healing. So I really appreciate from the bottom of my heart to you. And lots of love and blessings to you also, Monisset.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Sue. Sending
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
And also thank you very much, Michelle. For all the support, the guidance you shared with our audience, and also the information that you shared with us in the beginning during the discussion. It was very, very inspiring. So thank you very much for everything.
Thank you too. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. And also everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for the comments, the questions, for your energies and co-creating with us this experience. And and again, if you feel guided to work one-on-one with Michelle, she's offering 3 types of sessions. You can find them on the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, yourdivineuniqueness.com/Michelle, MICHELLE. Or you can click on the special offer button, which is on the live event page, later on the replay page. The link also on YouTube video description and the chat boxes on Zoom and YouTube. And the 3 sessions are all 60-minute one-on-one sessions. One is psychic medium reading, the second psychic mentorship session, and the third one is light language activation. And yeah, Jackie, Charlotte, thank you so much. Tina, thank you, Michelle. And yeah, so
Thank you all. Thank you so much for tuning in and for your questions.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monsef.
Thank you. Thank you again, Michelle. And yeah, so everyone, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call. Bye for now.
Much love.